Financial intelligence is the ability to control cash flow. And that's what they don't teach you at school. They tell you to go to school, get a job. First thing is tax. Most of your money will go out through taxes in your lifetime. And then they tell you to buy a house and a car. A car is an asset. No, a car is a liability. You got insurance, gas, upkeep, and all this. Now, if you buy a taxi car, it could be an asset. It's cash flow. And that's very simply it. So this is a poor person. Money goes out. There's a lot. We just interviewed some National Football League players who make millions of dollars in their 20s. And most of them are broke in 2 years because they can't control cash flow. Intelligence, IQ, is can you control cash flow, not your college degree. You want to be rich? Don't be an employee. Okay. You want to be rich? Be an entrepreneur. Okay. What's a choice? Employees have to save money, get out of debt, buy a house, right, and invest in the stock market. I don't touch any of that stuff. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but I don't have to. I'm an entrepreneur. I buy the gold mine. I get the gold. I buy the silver mine. I buy the real estate. I buy the hotels. I do not save dollars. I use debt to buy real estate. Right. I pay no taxes legally. Yeah. And I save gold and silver. Buy apartment houses. I only own apartment houses. I want somebody else to pay my mortgage for me. If I own my house, I'm the tenant.
Right.
I don't want to be my own tenant.
But in this environment where everything is crashing, is buying real estate now a good time?
Well, you got to be smart. And real estate is just as tough. But you got to be smarter. So that's why I always say your greatest asset is not this or this. Your greatest asset is between this year and this year.
Right.
And the reason I come to these shows is because I'm always feeding this thing. I've learned more in one day about global. Debt is money. Please understand me. In 1971, when Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard, money became debt. So the rich know how to use debt to get rich. And that's what I do. My friend Donald Trump, I know some of you hate the guy, more power to you, you know. But we use debt as money. And other guys will tell you get out of debt. Well, you choose. The rich use debt to get rich, and the poor middle class get wiped out because they're in debt. That's because of the lack of financial education. And I tell you, invest for the long term in a well-diversified portfolio of stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and ETFs. The key word in there is invest for the long term. It's basic, but our academics are idiots. They got this piece of stupid paper that says you got a PhD, and going, good, pay me my rent, I'll be happy. So the average poor person, went to college like my dad, PhDs. Go to school, get a job, work hard, save money, get out of debt, and you buy a house because your house is your biggest asset. That is the dark side of the coin, but it's the light side for the idiots. They're doing what they think is smart. Other guys on my side, on Trump's side, going, I wouldn't do that. But you can't tell them that because they've got this stupid piece of paper. So they're smart. My dad said, I'm smarter than your rich dad. I said, yeah, you're also broke. That's why Trump says I'm smart. But the average person says, well, I pay more taxes than you. I said, well, you're an idiot. I want to bypass. Education's important. If you can be a doctor, lawyer, attorney, that.
Right.
But they don't teach you anything about money. So if you want to be a doctor, you got to go to med school. To be a lawyer, go to law school. Be an engineer, go to engineering school. So how do you learn about money? Because a teacher cannot teach because they're poor. If you understand history, the reason I pay no taxes is because I borrow money. I'm a debtor. And check this out. I mean, all you communists out there, check this stuff out. I am a billionaire in debt. You know why? Because I get tax breaks for borrowing money. And the reason I am so rich is because I'm in debt. And my friend Dave Ramsey says, live debt free. Well, you're an idiot. I mean, he's my friend, but I say, Dave, I like debt. He says, I know, but most people can't handle debt. I said, I agree. But that's why there's no financial education in schools, because if you knew how to handle debt, you wouldn't save that crappy dollar you have in your hand. I'd rather borrow the money tax free.